Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, a fantastic, beautiful game that a lot of people, of course, are saying the monetization. It's hard to build decks, packs are hard to come by, but I have a solution for you, and that is very free-to-play friendly decks. Today, I'm going to be featuring Budget Artifact, which actually I think is incredibly viable and very strong. So first things first, what counts as budget? Well, this list right here is exactly what I mean. If you pick the starter deck of the deck being featured and you make one extra legendary plus a couple more golds, the artifact starter deck does come with one of each Miriam and Elouette. I do think these two are non-negotiable, so I would suggest that you make both of them to 3 copies. So one Realmy will cost you 3,500 vials, and making 2 more of each of these will cost you another 1,500 each, meaning that you're spending about 6,500 vials just to make the golds and the one legendary, but that is enough. So what is Artifact Portal, and why is it one of the best decks in the game right now? So the artifacts in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond basically work in a very interesting way, where you have these cards that make a bunch of them. Usually they will first generate these Gears of Ambition as well as Gear of Remembrance, so the blue artifact and the red artifact. And then when you fuse an artifact amulet to either one of them, they will turn into these bigger ones. So the blue one will turn into the bigger blue one, which is a 3-cost 1/5 with Ward, and the red one will become a 3-cost 5/1 with Rush. Ward is a keyword that basically prevents your opponent from attacking anything else but this follower, so they have to clear this before attacking anything else. And Rush is a keyword that means that you can attack with this the turn that it's played into one of your opponent's followers, which normally you cannot do in Shadowverse. And then you fuse to these silver artifacts in order to get the alpha, beta, and gamma ones. And basically when you fuse certain costs to these guys, they will then become bigger based on the cost that you fused. So I'll just move to this side so I can show you the cost easier. So if you fuse a 1 cost to this guy, he will turn into the alpha. So 3 + 1 = alpha. The alpha says that if he's on the board, he will heal your leader by 3, and he's a 5-cost 3/5 in stats. The beta says he's a 5-cost 4/4 that at the end of your turn, he'll deal 3 damage to the enemy leader. So to get the beta, you would have to take, for example, the striker and fuse 2 Gears of Ambition or the other gear into it, and you'd get the beta. But if you take the striker and fuse 3 of the 1-cost gears, or if you fuse like a striker to a striker, or if you fuse a fortifier to a striker, or a fortifier to a fortifier, so if you fuse 3 to 3, then you will get the artifact gamma. So artifact gamma is one of the best ones. It's a 5-cost with 5 attack and 3 defense. That end of your turn will deal 3 damage to all enemy followers. So you have certain classes in the game, such as Sword or Forest, that like to go really wide, play a bunch of different things with like 3 or less defense. So then you would want to put out the Gamma faster because that will clear your opponent's board. But then you have some other classes that struggle to deal with 4 defense bodies that would get hurt by the burn damage. So then you want to prioritize the Beta. And then when you have all 3 of them in your hand, you can use the effect of the Alpha to fuse all 3 of them together to create the 10-cost Masterwork artifact Omega. He's a 10-cost 10/10, so you cannot bring him out until you have 10 play points. But when you play him, he'll deal 5 damage to all enemy followers, restore 5 defense to your leader. He has Storm, which means he can attack the turn that he's played even to your opponent's face. He has Ward, which we mentioned earlier, and Aura, which means that he cannot be targeted by effects. So if your opponent has like a spell that says, oh, target an opponent's follower and destroy it, they can't do that. So that is basically how artifacts work, is that you essentially want to make all these little gears and then use the gold ones to help you fight in the mid game until the end game where you play the big 10/10 and win. And so we have a bunch of different ways to make these artifacts, right? The Elise is a 1-cost that is a 1/1, but if she gets destroyed, her last word's effect will activate to give you the Remembrance gear to your hand. You have the Recharge that will make 1 of each to your hand. Electric Whiplash will make 1 of the Remembrance, which is the blue one, to your hand. Ironheart Hunter will make you 1 of the red one, and you can even evolve her to deal 3 damage to an enemy follower, which is also pretty good for dealing with early boards. Kitty Cannoneer will give you an Ambition, which is the red one, and it's a 3-cost with 3/2 that has Rush, so it can answer early boards. Stream of Life is a spell that costs 2 to play, and then you can deal 3 damage to enemy follower and add the blue gear to your hand. And then much like the Recharge, you have some cards that can add both. So Miriam is one of the really good cards that adds both of them to your hand, and if you evolve her, she does that again. So don't forget that if you get both of them to your hand twice, that means you can fuse 1-1, 1-1, you have 2 3s, you can fuse 3 to 3, and then you have the Gamma. Rukina also gives you one of each of them as well, but if you evolve her, she summons the Striker, which you can use to trade into your opponent's followers too. But the strongest card in the deck, in my opinion, is Alouette. I think this is the card that really takes this deck to become the best deck in the format. She's a 5 cost with 2 attack and 4 defense that adds both of the gears to your hand when you play her, but when you evolve her, she chooses an artifact follower in your hand that costs 5 or less and summons a copy of it. This basically cheats out a 5 cost card onto your board for free, which means that you can summon the Beta to do 3 burn damage, or the Alpha to heal yourself 3 if you need to, or the Gamma to do 3 damage to all of your opponent's followers. And usually 5 play points is like right after your opponent made a big board with something, and that just gets answered by this one card. The other way to do that is the Doomrite Resurgence, which especially in the budget build I think is a very important card. This card allows you to choose 2 artifact followers in your hand that cost 5 or less and summon an exact copy of each, but then they will be destroyed at the end of your opponent's turn, which means you can cheat out 2 5-cost cards for the cost of 5, but they will of course get destroyed, so do keep that in mind. And finally, we have the Ralmia, who cheats out even more. On Fanfare, she chooses 3 artifact followers in your hand that cost 5 or less and summons an exact copy of each, and if you super evolve her, she gives +1/+1 to all of them as well. So this is really good because you have to build up time until you get to 10 play points you can play down the Master Artifact. So until then, cards like Ralmia and the Alouette will really help to tide things over, overall making a good match. In terms of pinpoint destruction, you have Bullet from Beyond for tricky things like Forte and whatnot that can't be attacked. This will just destroy an enemy follower while adding both gears to your hand, which is also very useful. And finally, we play the Love Struck Puppeteer just for adding a puppet to our hand. A puppet is just a 0-cost 1/1 with Rush, but since it destroys itself at the end of your opponent's turn, you basically just use it to trade into your opponent's stuff. If you evolve him, then he will make another puppet, and this helps to answer some early game boards. So this is the general build. Here's the QR code if you want to copy it yourself. Stay tuned to the end of the video where I also show you what the upgraded version of this deck looks like, so you have an idea of what you want to switch out of the deck and what you want to build towards. Before we get into our games, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. This is a brand new channel for Shadowverse Worlds Beyond exclusively, and I would greatly appreciate your support. And if you also share this video with your friends that are starting Worlds Beyond and need a good, very strong budget deck to start with. But without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, we have ourselves a game. Get in the lab. It's a mirror match against Dochakan. Portal Crafts. Let's see. So, I was in Diamond before. Ooh, wow, this opening hand. Ooh, going second, especially double Alouette seems really tempting. The realm you want to keep is only play 2. We do need another generator before turn 4 though. Do we put back one of the Alouettes? But I feel like especially in this budget build, it might be tough, but I feel like we need an early generator. One Alouette should get us there, but we need like 2 Whiplasses basically, turn by turn. Otherwise, we're in a little bit of trouble here. All right, let's see what this can give us off the top. Ironheart Hunter will be good for next turn. We're here for now. We're okay. All right, it's gonna be a Hunter-Hunter matchup. Yeah, we don't really have a choice. We don't really care too much about how the damage distribution happens early, because, man, I just hope I don't regret putting the second Alouette back. She is very important, but it's like, if you brick, you brick. But there's so many, you know, things that generate the artifacts that it's kind of okay. It's kind of tough, but I think we just have to Whiplash. Kind of thinking, can't afford to take too much more damage. And even though we're going to stabilize with a board, like going down to 14 puts us in a very, very risky predicament where they can start prioritizing burn damage instead of going on the board with their Alouettes and whatnot. So that also puts us in a pretty risky situation. So let's see. But especially playing the mirror match, you will definitely get this feeling sometimes where it's like you're playing against someone with a much bigger card pool than you. And that will, you know, there's things like Orcus and whatnot, especially if they have the Orcus leader, you can assume that they're going to have it. So it's things like that when you're playing the budget list, you have to just accept that you don't have. Oh, they're already fusing up to the Gamma here. Plays out the Rukina despite that, knowing fully well that this board is going to get blown up this turn. So I will also just fuse up myself as well and get the extra play point here. Do we actually go to the Alouette though? There is a world where we don't, because we have to answer their Alouette. So Puppeteer does give me a way to answer their board too. It's pretty long-winded, but is there a world where we do it? We just like Because Alouette does answer this board, but then their Alouette answers my Alouette. And we already know they have the Gamma. So I feel like I'd rather use my Alouette on their Alouette, which is kind of what happens with this mirror match, unfortunately. So we're gonna make some puppets instead. This is kind of what the nice thing of this particular build is that we get to do this. And we already know that they're gonna play Alouette, so we can just play the Bell Ringer here, knowing that it's gonna be taken out. This makes me feel like I might be wasting the... Ooh, they're playing this instead. Interesting. So this does make it kind of awkward with our extra play point from going second. We could have used it on turn 2. There's still a world where we do, though. There's still a world where we do. They're just fusing up now and passing up there. I see how it is. I could use the 6 play points from the boost here to go Lee, Arnott Hunter, Whiplash, which gives me a bit more. I feel like that is the best play. This way we're not wasting the extra play point we got either. So this gives us like a couple more artifacts basically for later, which will do well into our Ralmia, because this will let us use this, and then this gives us 2 that can make us the beta. And then we'll just need some way to make the alpha essentially. So we can just assume that this board will die. Them having this also, you get 1 copy of the Ancient Cannon in the starter deck. I see some lists that play it, some that don't. I think it's okay not to have it. So it's sort of up, like, if you do want to cut something, it's probably going to be like the puppet maker as well. And as you can see, that just helped us in the last turn. But especially in this kind of matchup where it's like you're constantly fusing, this like ping 2, ping 2, ping 2, ping 2 is going to get a little bit annoying. So okay, you can see they're just fusing up. They have the whole thing in their hand already, basically. They have the whole thing in their hand already. And they're making a lot of artifacts too. I mean, we can technically also just like Miriam. Like, if we don't need to play the Alouette yet, we can kind of avoid it in a sense. Because the Miriam will give me up to 4 artifacts actually. Do I need that many? I think Miriam is better here, because next turn we could do Alouette Stream of Life. I think regardless we're going to Miriam here. We could even go for Striker. That's also an option. Just play out the Striker and trade this on its own. That's also one of the uses of this. And then this allows us to just like fuse. Do we need to evolve this? I feel like I do want to. It just gives us the extra artifacts that will, especially in the mirror match, help us. And sort of forces them to commit their Striker in exchange. So we're sort of just like exchanging Strikers, which is kind of a interesting predicament. Now it comes down to when we're going to burn our second extra play point. Because we can try to do Ralmia next turn. Although it's not really going to... Nah, we're not going to do Ralmia next turn. I don't think that's happening. I think we're likely going to just Alouette and build up the artifacts, because here we can make the Gamma, but then we can't even make Alpha yet, so we want to probably use these to do that. Yeah, them just being able to fuse 3 times in here, or like, yeah, do the kitty and just get the clear very easily here. Looks like they're not committing to more fuses, because they could have fused 2 more times and then kept the 3-2 on board, which would have been pretty annoying for me to deal with as well. So I think here we don't have any targets for this, which is kind of annoying. Maybe we do just Alouette this turn then. Maybe it's finally time to Alouette. Although we do waste a Super Evolve on her, but it's not too bad. Maybe we just go for the damage then. We go for... because there's nothing on board anyway, so... in that case, I think we want to fuse to the Fortifier. Fuse to the Fortifier. And then Alouette will give us 2. She can play this out. Do 3 damage to face. We do need to start doing some damage here. And the extra stats will definitely help as well. And then here we get the both of them. And then fuse. I think here at the very least we want to make Gamma already. I want to say. So this will make Gamma. We're not that low on hand. It is kind of becoming a like, when are we gonna Ralmia? But we're kind of playing chicken game here with our opponents, which is also like pretty fascinating. Oh, they're gonna Orcus. Okay, yeah, Orcus just answers both of these, which is the harsh reality of the budget deck, is that you will just run into these games where you have, like, you know that you're just, you know, they have certain options that, and especially if you do pull Orcus from your opening packs, 100% recommend putting it in. It's like, this is the better Super Evolve target by all means. I feel like we could just like stream this, bullet this, these two both die, and then essentially just get ready for next turn. Stream gives us 1, right? Yeah, this gives us 1. And then this gives us 2. So now we can basically just do we have an animated one? We don't. So we won't have an animated Omega, unfortunately. So this does that. And then this will fuse into this. And then essentially, I mean, we can just play the Bell Ringer at this point. And then I guess we're just gonna have to like pair it up with like a Ralmia into... Do we? I gotta be careful though. We're gonna actually probably have to play out the 10-10 next turn, because either that or if we draw into like a 1 or 2, if we draw into a 1 or 2 drop generator, we might have to play double alpha to heal 6, because we're getting really close to dying. We're getting dangerously low on defense, and that's like the chip damage that you get to do with this deck as well. So they're doing pretty good. All right. They're not going for Orcus. They're not going for Ralmia. A much more tame option. I do want this Bellringer to get taken out. Bellringer, last words, draws us a card. It helps us find pieces. Oh, the beta. Please don't play the beta. It's a 3. They don't need a 3. Oh, Doomrite for big damage. Ooh, that really makes me need an alpha. Kitty, you're the only one we don't need right now. Buddy, you're the only one. It's just you. It's just you, buddy. So our only option here is we fuse up, we +1 play point, and we pray. So we super evolve, which gives us the big heal, gives us heal to 8, and we super evolve to 13. And then that basically means that they... Is it worth a super evolve actually? I'm thinking. No, it's not. Because they deal 5. And then need to fuse 3 more times to get rid of it. They fuse once. I'm just scared of the fuse at this point. Because I also cannot make... I think we have to. I'm scared of the fuse. Because if they fuse 2 times... we're already in big danger. So I think here we make the 13-13 and then force them to make their own 13-13 kind of thing. And then see where that goes. Doomrite. Oh my god. Damn, that was okay. That was just clean. They were never planning to make the robot in the first place. They were just making freaking damage with the betas. That's so good. That's strong. All right. It's time for a game against Rune. Okay, interesting. Their name is Kani o tabetai. They want to eat, what is it? Crab? All right. We have Alouette in opening hand. That's very good. Alouette opening hand going second, which means that we need 2 generators for the turn 4 Alouette play, which will definitely help us to gain some good traction. I feel like this hand is okay. If we had a Ralmia, it would be nice, but maybe we throw the Ralmia, the Kitty Cannoneer, to try to draw into a Ralmia. That's not too bad either. Like, Artifact Recharge is also good turn 1 play, so this gives us some pretty good options. So turn 1 will definitely recharge. Turn 2, Whiplash. Ooh, Resurgence is good. Resurgence is definitely good. Generally speaking, in the mulligan, you always want to just like make sure you have Alouette first and foremost, and then Ralmia will definitely help you to like connect to that afterwards. And then you're like going second play point. Basically, the order of operations is that you're gonna commit 1 to... Oh, this could be interesting. We could play Whiplash here, the next turn Puppet to bash into it with this and have a nice trade, because it can't evolve yet anyway, so it's actually not too bad. But generally speaking, it's like the extra play point you get from going second is of course a new addition to Shadowverse from Worlds Beyond onwards, but it is a very nice addition in the fact that it gives you the sort of like comeback potential from going second to play boss cards earlier than your opponent can going second, but only twice per game. So it's stuff like power plays that normally would happen on turn 5 can now happen on turn 4, like, and you know, turn 6 plays can happen on turn 5 and whatnot. So you're gonna just basically trade, leave up these two to make, kind of force them to take them out. And then next turn we basically have the Alouette ready. Yeah, I think that's good enough for this turn. I don't diffuse anything. The Ironheart Hunter can also be kind of good for like the little bit of damage. The most important thing in this matchup is going to be dealing with the Anangrea. Anangrea is such a strong card, it is ridiculous. So, Stormy Blast, that's okay. Do they have anything else to back that up with? One play point left? If not, we're going to go for the beta here, because that will do some burn damage. Yeah, and I think we definitely want to go for it. Let's fuse up, use the Remembrances together. And then Alouette's going to give us 2 more. And then we can basically fuse these 2 into this to make the beta. And then beta will do 3 burn damage at the end of turn, while also putting up a nice strong board here. So if we can get 2 betas down the line, we're doing a lot of burn damage. So we can also try to win through that. You really like this, the difficult part of Artifact is that, you know, the fuse thing is already its own sort of like, this is the only deck that fuses, so it's like its own sort of gimmick that you have to get used to. But at the same time, it is also the fact that you have to constantly be sort of like thinking about this, like, oh, which artifact should I be going for in this situation kind of thing, right? So that's also what makes it a little bit difficult. Ooh, this bullet is very timely. I feel like we have to shoot the Anangrea. We gotta shoot her. We gotta shoot her. We don't have a choice. That also gives me the enough artifacts for, I do have to think a little bit. We could also technically Ironheart. I feel like maybe Ironhearting here is better, because this does mean that I can just evolve this, deal 3 damage to this. I'd like to keep the bullet for like a more hard to take out follower, you know? This doesn't really feel worth the effort. The question here is Leah versus the other one, because here if we get the kitty, fuse this, they only have 1 extra. But I'm probably trying to play Doomright. I mean, obviously the sooner the better, but if we have to play the bullet next turn, but then bullet with Bellringer is better on play points, that's 6. So I think we do want to actually call this down and then basically just pass, because this will destroy itself at the end of turn. Not too bad. Not too great, not too bad. It's kind of like 50-50. So this way we basically have enough right now to make an alpha in hand, but if we play the bullet, we can basically make anything. Ooh, interesting. Gonna play that to make the clay golem. The golem, who's made of clay. Look at him. It's probably, yep. Oh, 12 damage, okay. Must have been holding on to that for a while. So now, okay, gonna evolve that, keep it up with 1 defense remaining. Ooh, that's a good top deck. Oh, that's a very good top deck. That's a crazy top deck. Stream of Life is exactly what we need, and we kind of Leah here. It's not worth to play point boost for Doomright. Is it? I don't think it is, but we could do a lot of burn damage here. Is it more worth than putting down? No, I don't think so, because we can still do 6 damage burn next turn, and turn 9 playing down the Omega is definitely more worth it. So let's just do Ding Gong Ding Gong. The next turn Doomright with 2 betas, or maybe not, or maybe not. Maybe we're gonna have to bullet here. Maybe we have to bullet here. Oh, Rukina. Rukina's not bad either. I mean, we can also just wait, no, not alpha. Gamma is really good here, because Gamma will also take out the board too. So it's a good thing we waited. So use you. Yeah, we just make the Gamma here. No questions asked. This basically answers this whole board, which is kind of crazy. Actually, genuinely does. Yeah, no reason not to do this, right? I'm just thinking to myself for like a second. We summon these two. We do damage. We do AoE. And then Electric Whiplash. It's just a question of if we want to take this out or not. I think we do. And then we can Super Evolve to do one more burn damage. So we're going to do 4 damage total. I go down to 11. Do we want to burn the Super Evolve? I can afford to take 4 damage next turn. And then we have Bullet if anything. No, it feels a bit risky. Feels a bit risky to leave stuff up. So yeah, and this takes out everything. That's pretty good. The 4-6 should also be a little bit difficult to take out. Okay, there's Kuon. So we have the Bullet here, and they're probably gonna run everything into this. Ooh, okay. Kuon Evolve. So they're not gonna run everything into this. I stand corrected. Yeah, we can basically Bullet Rukina. Bullet and Rukina. With Rukina Evolve, we get to trade basically everything. Because Bullet kills Kuon, Rukina summons a strike that kills this, and then we can just swing her into this. That also gives us... So give us enough damage to win, though. I'm gonna be one off, aren't I? I'm debating, do I just risk it? Thing is, they're already at 9 play points next turn. This is their second Kuon, but if they have another Kuon... So Bullet's definitely happening. That's not even like... And also Rukina is also happening. I'm questioning is if we evolve her or not. Because next turn we have confirmed a 13 damage turn if we don't evolve her. But then I'm taking 7-9 with evolve, that's 12. They just need 3 damage to kill me. No, it's too risky. It's actually too risky. I hope this risk pays off. Is all I can say. But it's just annoying because we're gonna be 1 off from winning. We are going to be 1 off from winning, and that's the annoying part. That being said, though, whatever they put down here is going to be at risk of getting blown up by my big robot, and I'm also going to be healing down a bunch. So I guess we might just have to like bet on a beta. It's like, this is where if we had the Ralmia, didn't draw into her, but if we had the Ralmia, would have been able to like put her down this turn to try to answer this board. Ooh, this is okay. This is okay. This is okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Is that all you're doing this turn? That is all you're doing this turn. If that's all you're doing this turn, do I just Bullet? Wait, let me think. So let's first make an alpha and see what we're left with after that. So this is what we're left with. We have, I think technically have 6. So I could technically make a beta this turn or next turn as well, actually. Yeah, I think it's worth to go for the heal. I think it is worth to actually go down already. Yep, we're gonna do the 10 damage now. It doesn't win us the game, but it gets close. And we just need to Bullet. Ooh, wait, this is fine. Oh, depends. Depends what this climb finds. Please draw bad. Don't heal. Don't tell me that heals. That does 6, that's fine. Just don't heal. No, you're climbing again. Just don't heal. You can evolve, you can swing, I don't mind, just don't heal, please. Don't heal, please. I beg you, don't heal. Please don't heal. Please tell me you're not healing. Please tell me that means you're not healing. Please. Bestie. Come on, please. Storm is fine. As long as you don't have 1 damage. Oh, we did it. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Oh, let's make it animated. Hold up. Oh, we did it. Oh my god. Oh, that was clutch. Make the beta. Play the beta. End of turn, 3 damage. Boom, baby. Let's go. That's more like it. No worries, bro. Satan, look at all these stats. Doesn't matter. All I need is a little robot with some arms. And that's all it takes to get this dub. All right, so that has been the introduction of the budget artifact build. As you can see, you are running with A little bit of a handicap as you don't have access to certain things such as the Orcus, but it is still very strong just because of the existence of certain cards like Alouette and Ralmia that just kind of give you that huge oomph, and Doomrite Resurgence, of course, helping you to make those combo plays as well. So this deck is fairly complex because of the different paths that you can make with all of the different artifact forms, but putting in the time with this deck and really just like grinding it out will also take you to the next level as well. Now, if you're curious what the updated version of the deck looks like, there's quite a few different builds, but this is one of the more common ones that you'll definitely see in ladder. Of course, Ralmia being run at 3, but also of course the Orcus inclusion, as I mentioned during the fights themselves as well. It's really, really good. I mean, this is basically a 7 damage source that also like has Bane attached and everything. This being an 8/8 on Super Evolve is also like clearing basically everything as well. So Orcus, if you have any, definitely put them in too. And then everything else, I mean, Alouette and Miriam they stay as 3-ofs. The other inclusion is Sylvia. She basically is either drawing you extra cards or healing your leader 4, and the heal 4 is really huge. And on Evolve, she either destroys 1 or on Super Evolve destroys 2 enemy followers, which helps you clear your board. Also gets around stuff like Barrier, which normally, you know, you'd have to like damage something twice to pop and whatnot. So it's really, really nice. Outside of that, it comes down to how much of like the puppets and stuff you want to splash. So some people play the Love Struck Puppeteer. Some people play the Puppet House, I think, the Amulet that generates a puppet every turn, just to make the Orcus turn even stronger, because then you can put down one more puppet on the board that will also get Storm and Bane that you can use to clear out like a ward or something, so that the remaining 7 can go to face and whatnot. So that also is another option that you can explore. And then I think the only things that really cannot be moved are things like the Elise, the Artifact Recharge. I feel like the Hunter is also very common too. And then Miriam, Bullet, Alouette, Doomrite, Orcus, Ralmia are like the really much the core components. So here's the QR code if you also want to copy down this version of the list too and slowly build towards it. But with that, that has been it for my introduction of the budget artifact list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let me know in the comments what other decks you'd like to see introduced. I'm going to be featuring both, of course, competitively fully built decks that I've been playing in ladder myself, as well as, of course, other good budget decks. I don't want to recommend, you know, budget decks that aren't really worth building the extra legendary. But there's definitely stuff like Sword and Dragon and I'd say Forest that are very good on a budget, that I also really recommend upgrading those starter decks too. Kind of did a bit of a 180 on that Dragon pick though. I definitely was not recommending that on day one. If you're a new player, you might want to check out the other video I did going over the basic tips for beginners, which you can find right here. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.